Welcome back to the Canadiens Ca- Cafe podcast with your host Nick and my co-host Grant. Today we're going to discuss finally the run to the playoffs that looks like it's going to finally work out.
Yeah, a few games tonight that kind of help or hurt us a bit with Columbus and Buffalo and the New York battle,
New York,
uh, both at 79 points. But
New York
we
battle
should
has to
be
happen,
we should be pretty comfortable. We're the only team not clinched, but with 87 points and with Ottawa on Friday tomorrow,
which is a
we're in great shape.
which is a game that I think we can win because we've beaten Ottawa all season long, and again they're not going to have Brady Kachuk. I talked
Yeah.
to my friend who's a Sens fan today. Told me Brady Kachuk is probably going to miss the rest of the season until the playoffs. They're going to rest him
Do
because
we have an official playoff start date or no? Not yet.
the only date is that the playoffs start officially on April 19th, so
Okay.
next Saturday. But aside from that, we don't have which day the Habs
Right.
versus Capitals or
Because
Habs.
our last game is the 16th, I believe, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct, against Carolina.
Carolina.
I
Yeah.
don't see us winning that game unless Carolina just
Well, if we clinch, like I mean, because could if we let's just say we win versus Ottawa, we win versus Toronto back to back, does that clinch us a spot?
okay. So here's what can happen. So let's say the Rangers beat the Islanders tonight, right?
Yeah,
Detroit wins, but if the
and yeah,
Rangers beat the
yeah,
Islanders with a win tomorrow night, we clinch. They
okay.
clinch.
And if
But
Detroit
if the
loses,
Islanders beat the Rangers, we don't clinch with a win tomorrow night
okay, so then we're definitely cheering for the
because
Rangers.
the Rangers lost last night.
Yeah,
We'll have a game in hand on them or something like
right,
that.
right,
In the end, it's going to they won't be able to catch up if we get an extra point because
right.
the
Well,
most amount of points that the Rangers can get right now is 87 points.
okay, and that's
The
where we're at
Islanders
now.
can still get 89,
Okay.
but honestly, the Islanders to me are the team that probably threaten me the least of the teams like
Yeah,
Columbus,
Columbus,
Detroit,
Detroit,
Rangers,
and the Rangers, I would say.
and
Those
the
are,
Islanders. I think the Islanders are the least threatening
yeah.
on paper, at least.
Mm.
They weren't a team I would expect to make the playoffs. Neither is
Excuse me.
Columbus, but Columbus is running on a high of the whole Johnny
Yeah,
Gaudreau
so
stuff, and
and
they're just
yeah,
growing as a team as well.
yeah. So
But
Detroit's Islanders, Blue Jackets all have 77 games played, all have 79 points. The Rangers are the only team with 78 games played with 79 points. So yeah, we definitely want the Islanders or the Rangers, sorry, because the Rangers do it, then they're all game up ahead and they're all the same points.
if the Rangers happen to lose tonight, they get eliminated from playoffs. They have no chance.
Yeah,
But we would rather keep at the same time we'd rather keep the Rangers and Islanders around so that we can clinch tomorrow by just
right,
winning, so that they
right.
can stay. So the Islanders cannot find a way to pass us after.
So you said that you think that the Habs are winning tomorrow. Um
I see a 4-2.
excuse me. Um they had a long week, a lot of games, and they still like okay, fine. The first period with Detroit, I thought like that. Like I even said it before the game. I thought that they were going to lose
What
that
I
game. I thought they were going to be out of it because too many games, not enough time in between breaks. Yes, the day before on the Monday was a travel day,
Yeah,
and they still push through. They still battle, and they still win it, which was unbelievable.
I know, like, but it took them the first period, and
It
look,
took them the first period, but
but
that's all it took.
Montembeau showed up.
Stood on his
He,
shoulders. He stood up
but
on his
what I
shoulders.
learned about Detroit is they'll shoot from anywhere. They'll shoot from
Yeah,
behind the net. They'll shoot
yeah,
from. They took 20 shots, but how many of them were really dangerous shots? They took 20.
exactly.
I think it was 22 or 23 shots that
Yeah,
period,
yeah.
but like they weren't super dangerous. I look and but Montembeau sometimes allows some very like
He
weird
does, and
goals.
maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they were just
And that
playing
I
the
think
odds
that's
of
what they
that.
were looking for. But
Yeah.
he was not when you're shooting to get those kind of weird goals. It seems like Montembeau is like, okay, yeah, try it. You're not going to get it.
Yeah.
But it was a weird game like that. Yeah, so it was how many shots was it in the okay, I can't I'm not on the right app here.
I'll get you
But like not many of the shots that period were great. What I did learn though, also watching the game against Nashville,
here.
if that was against any other team, you're not winning that game.
Right. Oh
Nash
yeah.
they didn't
Yeah.
play they didn't
No, they
have
didn't.
to show up or anything.
I have the shot totals for per period for Detroit.
It
So the
was
game versus the Red Wings, first period, Detroit 23 shots, Montreal 4.
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Second period, 9 shots for Detroit, 7 for Montreal. Third period, 4 shots for Detroit, 10 for Montreal. For
It
a
got better as
total
the game went on.
for a total
They
of
conserved their energy.
36 yeah, for a total of 36 shots for the Red Wings and a total of 21 shots for the Canadiens.
It's about the fact that the Red Wings took it. I was only asking about the first period though. So it was
Okay.
23-4.
Yeah.
Originally, I remember seeing it was actually 24-4, but they removed one of their
Yeah,
shots.
they removed it.
I saw that on TSN.
But yeah, no doubt in my mind the Canadiens were fatigued. If we lost that game, I even said it myself. I'm
Huh.
yes,
It
I
was
get that every point is
understandable.
important, but it was understandable. You had 3 games in five. You had 5 games in 8 days. That was your fifth game,
Yeah.
and all of them were not back to back, but like game day, off day. Incredible.
Well, yeah. So well, there's another back to back too, Friday, Saturday.
And yeah,
I see the
Ottawa,
Habs
Toronto.
dropping like flies. If they clinch on Friday, Saturday's game is gonna
Oh,
be
it'll be the Laval Rockets. Yeah,
they'll feel kind of like okay,
and even then, they're contending number one. So like you're kind of in like Laval's in a number one spot for their playoffs, and Montreal's battling for a playoff spot now. Crazy.
yeah. Well, Laval has been insane.
They've been insane
Hoping to
all
go
year.
to a couple games.
Yeah,
They've been really good.
yeah.
Reinbacher's had a good
Very good
season
development from what I
playing, but he's
see.
in and out of the
Yeah,
lineup.
yeah,
Good, but I do see a lot of promise from him. It's clear that he's ahead of everyone. Um,
yeah.
he's definitely a better player than Mayu.
Absolutely. Yep.
As you may know, I went to a second game with my
Yeah, yeah,
dad a
before you.
couple like the week right after,
Yeah,
and it was yeah no Reinbacher played really well,
yeah.
and Engstrom just kind of like shit the bed, unfortunately. So my dad, who didn't know much about Engstrom, thought that Engstrom is a terrible defenseman. But
Ah,
no,
yeah.
that's not the
No,
case.
it's not.
It was just he had a very, very bad game.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. No, Laval's doing very well as well. So very good to see them doing well.
Speaking of which, would you just send Joshua back to Laval at this point? Now that we have
I think you keep him until the end of the season just because, scratches,
he's
injury.
always scratch. The Habs now trust Pizzetta more, but it's because Pizzetta, it seems like now that they just need an energy guy to throw out there, he's actually more useful now.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
I know I was not the one
I get not playing him is kind of like hindering him, but like I don't know. I
I
mean,
don't see this season has proven to me that I don't know if I see Joshua Ouellette part of the
well,
future of the team.
watching this team play kind of shows him where he needs to be or where he needs to be at in development.
Yes,
So
but something that's clear, he can't keep up with Newhook or Line even. Line, who's already had knee injuries, he can't even keep up with Line. That's how slow of a skater he is. You can't be that. With the way the Habs are trying to build their team, it's something that he can't like if you don't have the foot speed, you need to have the work ethic. He doesn't have that work ethic either. He's got like the pure
I think
hands, pure shots.
maybe now with Demidov coming in, maybe now you send down that person, right? Because now you have Kapanen sent up, who
Yeah, no, and
might
Kapanen
be
did play well.
the new Joshua Wall in the sense of okay, fine, he's going to be the one dressing and not dressing, and then that way you
Yeah,
just send
Kapanen,
Demidov.
that's probably what it will be with Pizzetta, Demidov. Speaking of which, that really caught us off guard on Tuesday afternoon. Like,
I really thought he was coming May 29. I thought that was the day he was coming. But for him to jump up ahead and for him to, the contract to
oh,
terminate
you're
right
saying
away,
the 29th at the end of
the
his
contract
contract.
and yeah, exactly. I thought it was gonna have to be waited out.
But no, no,
So
yeah, it was May 30th, it would have had to be. I
Oh, May
think.
30th. Yes, yes, yes.
That would have been the only way we get him is the Stanley Cup Finals. Now we get him for the playoffs,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
kind of
we're
an
getting a
interesting
Monday. Never mind the playoffs. We're getting a Monday.
Monday, yeah. But it's an interesting loophole that you
Yeah.
can actually have you can sign someone from a European league and throw them onto your playoff roster if you want. When you can't really, it's
Wentz
like
Hughes.
what
Wentz
Elvis
Hughes.
Lynch you, but no, it's an interesting loophole, and I'm taking scouting classes as
Yep.
I was asking Doug McLean, and he was telling me like it's an interesting loophole that a lot of teams can take advantage of and
I
all
hope
that.
it stays. I hope the NHL doesn't interfere with that because look at the hype. Like look how much positive things are happening because of this loophole.
But they need to what they need to work on is the LTIR stuff. Like,
I think they are. I think they're discussing it.
yes, but they need to maybe test the player. Like, if it's a really good player, they need to look into it. Like a Kucherov situation or Mark Stone being on LTIR for like 3 straight years at the end of the season. This year he wasn't there. He wasn't on LTIR.
Maybe.
He couldn't
Maybe.
he couldn't fake it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe yeah, maybe it takes more than team doctors. Yeah.
But no, this time I'm guessing Mark Stone is healthier than most years. I'm assuming it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to admit, Kucherov, that still hurts me so much. The whole thing of how
Everyone does it.
maybe
Vegas
because
does
we're
it.
Habs fans and we saw what had happened. On the flip side, Kucherov won me my fantasy hockey league.
There you go.
So
Look, I don't hold it against the team or him.
no,
Listen,
it's
it's
the
not
rules.
it's not against the rules, so therefore it's allowed, right?
Right. It's another loophole, like the whole
Exactly.
Russians
Nobody
thing.
says you can't do it. That means that nobody says you couldn't do it. Yeah.
Like I think no matter what though, if I think Kapanen would have been able to come in anyways because he started the year with us, so it would. But the fact that that Demidov can just walk in, but what does suck is we're losing 1 year of his contract, his entry level contract due to
Is
this.
it?
Yeah,
Because I thought okay, so
it's not
the
the
90
9 game
games
burning thing.
at the end of the day, are we
We're
really worried
using
about
it.
that?
It's the same way as if you sign like a college free agent.
Yeah. But like at the end of the day, the contract that we're gonna give him after this 3-year deal, is it gonna be cheap? No.
So
So
maybe some people are saying like, oh well, he would in his third season, he's probably going to be that's probably going to be the year he'll hit 100 points. Whereas next year he'll probably have 60, the year after 80, which I could see that, you know.
exactly. Yeah.
Don't it doesn't mean that he's going to blow everything up, blow up the league the way
No.
Hudson did.
Like I think if we expect him to be the way he is here on North American ice, I feel like we're just gonna give him the term anyway, you know?
I
So whether
think
it's 1 year before or 1 year after, at the end of the day, it doesn't make a damn. We're still gonna be a competitive team.
yeah, we're I mean, we're going to be paying Hudson this summer, I think.
Yeah,
If they paid Slavkovsky last summer to start for next seasons, they're going to pay Hudson for the year after too. Because
yeah,
why wait? This guy's going to command $10 million. What do you think the salary is going to look like?
exactly.
He's what, top five in defenseman scoring right now?
So here's the thing. There's a certain contract on this team that expires, or not expires, but that's terminated next year.
You're
I
talking,
think that'll be Hudson or Demidov's money right there.
oh, you're talking about Matheson.
I'm talking about Carey Price.
Oh, you're talking about no,
I'm
okay. Well,
talking
that
about the
doesn't
10.5
it's when
mil.
it's on LTIR all the time, which I don't
Yeah,
think
but
is
next year the contract's terminated.
right. That's gonna
They're not terminated, but next year the contract is up.
so after next season, right? So it's
After next season.
we
Because
still
this
have
year's
it next
7 of
season.
8 right now. So next year's the last year.
Yeah, the thing is, you get to by putting on LTIR, which I would probably do it next year.
Yeah.
You get to replace the that salary anyways.
So
So
exactly. So next year you replace it, and then the year after that it's over.
what
Then you get freed up more
you're gonna
space.
sign Marner for $10 million for 1 year? I don't know. I'm
You
just saying.
lock up you lock up Hudson.
Yeah, well,
And
you're
then the
gonna
year
lock
after
Hudson
that,
for
you lock up
because
Demidov.
Well, that's actually gonna be Hudson's money probably. He'll probably just take over that exact salary if you think about it.
Exactly. I would, you know what? Go ahead. Do it.
That exact salary seems
Do
fair.
it. 10.5 for 10? Maybe
But
not
then
10.
we're also gonna have to, and then the year after that, it'll be time to put Demidov's $11 million contract.
Yeah.
I'm just
And the
making
cap, well, the cap's going up to what, 95 next year? Or is that what they said? 95, 92,
what's it? I think it's like 94 next year.
94, eh? Yeah. It's going up. That's all that matters. We have our core already locked up, besides Hudson and
Yeah, well, he's gonna be locked up though. It's not an
exactly.
issue. Okay, yeah, no, so it's gonna be 95.5.
Oh, there you go, 95.
Yeah, so and then the year after, when Price's contract's up, 104. If that's the case,
Wow, if that's the case, that's
that's the
big.
huge jump.
If that's the case, we lock up both, and that's that.
Yep. But you can thing is you can lock up Hudson this summer. You have to wait the next summer to lock up Demidov. But
Yeah.
last summer they locked up Slavkovsky. So now this summer it's gonna be Hudson, and that's how
Yeah.
it's just gonna be done.
Yeah.
And then Suzuki will be old.
Well,
He'll hit 30 by the end of it.
he'll have two cups by then. Don't worry about it.
He'll have two cups. No, but like Suzuki would take a team friendly deal. I hope if he comes back at 30 years old,
So here's the thing.
this is 5 years.
This trade deadline, he didn't want anybody to go away. He said the team chemistry is good. So then that's when he made the promise where, okay, fine, I'll perform if you don't move anybody,
Became the
which
best player in the NHL.
was this?
He became one of the
Yeah, after Four Nations, he became one of the
there's
best
only
players, if not the best player. Yeah.
two players carried their teams. Him and
Yeah.
Robert Thomas.
Yeah. Oh
Two
yeah.
best players in
The
hockey,
Blues
all
are
of
another
hockey.
story on another planet altogether.
What?
But
Did you say Robert Thomas on another planet?
no, the Blues.
Oh, the Blues are on another planet,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. The
But
Blues, yeah.
you also got to realize that Robert Thomas and Nick Suzuki are also on their own planet
Yes.
altogether as well.
Yes. Yeah. So with the trade deadline happening, two things happened. Kent Kent made his promise where he didn't move anybody out of the way. As a matter of fact, and he signed and extended Jake Evans. So that being said, he gave what Nick Suzuki wanted. So now, when it's contract time for Nick Suzuki, he
You
can go
buy
back to them and be like, "Listen, I know you performed, and I know we made a deal here where I didn't move anybody out of the way, but because I didn't move anybody out, now we're on a contract situation where you got to be friendly or you got to
still
be
got, yeah.
team friendly like that. I don't know. Like I'm just simulating
I'm
negotiation,
making
but
I'm making obviously a joke here with Suzuki. He's got 5 years left. There's a long time.
exactly.
And
But when it comes to
now
that
they're going to make the
time,
playoffs every year, most likely going forward. Because this team isn't going to get worse; it's going to only get better.
yeah, you're right there. Well, they are, but like okay, Boston is not going to get much better immediately. I give it
Boston,
maybe 2 years until they're back into a playoff.
Tampa,
Unless they're
Tampa looks amazing right now, right?
yep.
But do you know Tampa's doing this as a last resort? This is their
Yeah,
last shot.
they're fighting for air. Yeah.
This is their like kick at the can kind of like run.
Yeah. I
Boston
can see
kind of
that.
did that like a few years ago. Like they survived a lot longer than they should have.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Detroit and Buffalo, they just haven't managed to.
Detroit could take a jump, but it all
Detroit,
depends. Like they need more. They need as hard as that is to say, they do.
they need better goaltending.
They do. Which don't they have oh no, Chicago's on Spencer
Cam
Nash.
Talbot, you're thinking of.
Yeah. I thought
Is
because I remember
it,
Spencer Knight moved, but it was to
yeah,
Chicago. It wasn't to
that's
Detroit.
what Doug McLean was saying yesterday on in my class. He was saying like the problem in Detroit is that they don't have a proper goaltender. He's like, I love Cam Talbot, but he's not gonna get you very far.
No, he's a little bit below, yeah, subpar.
He's not gonna get you that far.
Yeah.
To which I later responded, how many true number one goalies there are, and it all depends. It's like 10 to 15. There's not a lot of them.
So Caden Primo for Alex the Brinkat. That's what I'm hearing.
What?
Caden Primo for Alex the Brinkat. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh God.
You need a goalie. We need a center.
Oh, okay. Well, the Brinkat won't help in any way because he's not a center.
He's not?
No,
Oh,
that
I thought.
doesn't help at all,
Okay, I thought he was.
like in any way. But
Okay, well, here,
you know
Detroit.
who I was thinking of? Because I was listening and people are talking about like Matty Beniers is struggling right now in Seattle.
Yeah, but he's also kind of like their face of the franchise, no?
Is he though?
Well,
Or
who else
can
do they have?
they move away from him? You think just because he's their first draft pick, they're gonna keep him? Look at what Vegas did with their first draft picks.
Yeah, but Vegas has like no mercy.
No mercy to anyone.
No.
The, the only person that survived, I think, is William Carlson right now. Shea Theodore. Who else?
England?
What?
Derek England?
Well, he retired.
Yeah,
Well,
didn't trade him.
well, he was there very short. That doesn't count.
Okay.
But like I'm saying, like of like the main like misfits thing that they called them,
Yep.
do you count Riley Smith? They got him back, right?
Wow. Hmm. That's a yeah.
They
That's a good one.
traded him away and traded right back for him. I don't count that though. They did get rid of him.
Yeah, they did.
Can't remember. Did they send him to? But yeah, it's should be a fun run to the playoffs. It'll be good experience for the team.
Absolutely.
I don't expect them to go very far. I don't
Well,
expect them to
with
win.
Demidov, okay. So no, I don't expect it either. But with Demidov, now that's like your mystery box, right? Like,
Thing that worries me is that I don't want to play the Leafs because if we lose to the Leafs, it will be laughed at.
why? For what? Why were we gonna be laughed at? I'd rather Toronto, to be honest with you.
You
Because
would
we're
rather
expecting we're
Toronto.
expecting a loss in the first round no matter what, right? Whether it's
I'd rather
Washington
lose to
or Habs,
Washington than lose to Toronto.
I guess. But the way I see it is it's gonna be harder to overcome the Capitals than it will to overcome the Leafs.
I don't know about that. What we haven't seen is what is Washington now? What is
Well,
Washington now that
they're
no. Listen to
apparently
what I have to
at
say.
107 point team with
That
Ovechkin breaking the
doesn't
Gretzky record.
matter. What is Washington now? They completed their whole goal for the season. Their whole goal was to get Ovechkin the
Yeah, but
all-time.
now they're a great mix of young and vet. They're on
Yeah,
a record pace of
can they? I'm just not sure if they'll keep up to what they were.
I think they will. I don't think they're getting out in the second round. I can tell you that much.
No, they're not. Carolina is probably going to the second to the conference finals.
Nah, they see now that's the team because they never did it. The only time
But
they were in the conference final is when they made it versus Boston, and Boston whipped their butt.
but the thing about Carolina is look at what they have to work with in terms of like who they have to play against. New Jersey banged up, no Jack Hughes for the playoffs. They're completely banged up. Like they're not gonna make it past the first round. They're gonna Carolina's beating the Devils with their eyes closed. Let's be honest.
Basically, basically.
So with that being said, how can you and then when Washington faces Carolina, Carolina has the playoff experience. Plus, they're not as old as Washington. Like the veterans on Washington, they're gonna go downhill.
Yeah, but I
I
take
don't see.
Washington.
I
I
feel like
think
Ovi was their best player this season, right?
yeah, but
Ovi
it's
breaking
because
that
everybody
goal
was giving him
record.
the puck for the goal record.
Yeah. What?
Now
Okay.
now they're gonna share it around, and if
Yes,
they share it around and they don't score, they're gonna go back to giving it to Ovi.
but can they do it?
I think they can.
I don't see.
I absolutely.
See, the
I'm telling
funny
you
part
right
is, I
now.
actually think the
I
Habs
can
have
see
a better
Washington
chance
going to the
of beating
final this year.
Washington.
I can see Washington going to the final this year.
I don't see Washington going past round two at all. I could
Oh, I
see them
do
being
completely.
swept.
I do.
Either
No,
they'll lose to Montreal or Ottawa, or be swept by Carolina. That's what I think in
Yeah,
round two.
I think Washington can absolutely go to the final.
I don't see Washington, which Washington can surprise me, but I don't believe in them.
I love what they've been doing all year. And I know they've been passing the puck to Ovi, but like it's more than that. It's the chemistry, it's the way they're playing together. It's they know how to win games.
I saw them play against Carolina a couple like last week. The only thing they played for was Ovi's goal, and it looked like
Yeah,
they were
but
useless.
that's what their game plan was.
But
Now
the
their game
thing
plan
is,
is to win the game.
but I've noticed when it's not about Ovi, it they haven't proven anything this season. They've actually proven me nothing this season.
I don't know. I think there's magic. I think there's magic dust in the Washington
I
Capitals.
don't see it. I don't believe in it. I think they're gonna hit a wall come playoff time.
Uh, I haven't seen that. The only time I saw that is when they played was it Carolina in the playoffs when was it? 2 years ago? Last year?
Wait, when they
They
what do you
played
mean?
Carolina in the playoffs and they got like their the butts kicked.
Oh, that was the Rangers
It wasn't the Carolina Hurricanes?
last year. No,
I could remember, I don't know. I thought it was a
it was the
Capitals
Rangers.
Hurricane series. But see, I thought it would be like more of like a revenge thing like that, but
I would I'd believe more in playing a team like Washington. I think I feel like the Habs are a better match against Washington than they are against the Leafs.
I can agree with that.
There's a better chance to play.
I think there's a game plan versus Washington that you could plan it out before you plan out Toronto. But
The Habs have not prepared for Toronto, and Toronto's going to walk all over them on Saturday night, anyways.
yeah, but that's a different situation. It's because we're gassed. Now you had your little 2 days of rest there, but we're preparing for the playoffs. So, like as much as this game is important for us to play, it's not really a number one priority.
The
But
Sens, like the Sens, are basically rolling over. They don't care if they're playing Toronto or Washington, and they're going to roll over. They might roll over to us tomorrow.
they
I don't
might,
know.
depending
Heard
depending what they want to
I've
do, they
heard
might.
things like, which is not a great mentality to have, but it sounds like that's the mentality that some of the fans have too.
Yeah.
Is roll over and just give Montreal the
If and only if we match up to Toronto, I feel like I don't know. I feel like that gives us a little. I think that gives us a little more boost because look, they are more successful than what they were. They are. Do I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to go to the second round? I do. But at the end of the day, this team still isn't showing or hasn't shown it can get it done. The only time they showed it can get done is when they went to game six versus Tampa. That's the only time. And they only won one game after that.
that doesn't count.
Why not?
No, like it's not really well. Okay, they got it done once,
Yeah. And then
but
they won one game after that, and that
but
was
you
it.
can't call that like a true cup contending team. Now,
Oh no, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm saying the team that's going to go to the from the Atlantic Division that's going to go to the conference finals is Tampa or Florida. We know this.
Yeah, I'm talking about round two, me or round one.
Yeah. So I guess that's something that we will know, and we'll think
I'm gonna love if it's Washington. I'm gonna love if it's Toronto, but I'm really gonna love it if it's Toronto.
you're gonna love it more against Toronto.
Yeah,
You want to play Toronto more?
because because like you said, they're more the real deal than what Washington was. But that doesn't
I'm
mean. But that
scared of
doesn't.
Toronto.
But that doesn't mean that I'm not afraid of Washington. I am. It's just that
I'm not that afraid of Washington. I'm afraid of Toronto.
I'm saying both can do damage, but I feel like our chances are better versus Toronto.
No, I don't think so. I think the new defensive system in Toronto this year has changed their team. They're
It's
not the
better.
same team.
Like I said, it's better. I'll give you that. It is better. But our defense also got better.
Our defense still has serious flaws. very big flaws.
Oh, yes, it does. It does.
Big, big flaws. We
It does.
cannot play Savard. We can barely play Jacky.
I don't know about that. I
Those
think
two, well, Savard only for the penalty kill. Jacky, he's not consistent enough either. I and you
but
know,
it's not an 82 game series.
Maybe Savard
He
can
just
push it.
needs 2 games to be the guy. Maybe even one.
Yeah, I mean, if Savard can push it, block a billion shots on the penalty kill, then we're okay. But
It's
Jacky
playoff.
needs to not think or needs to whatever. Just he's got to be careful.
He needs to play his game and just not get carried away. That's all he needs to do,
Yeah. The
which
Habs
I
right
think
now,
he
what they're
can do.
doing is they're resting Savard, eh?
Yeah.
That, that
Which
that's
which I agree with that. Why
that's
not?
a good move. They don't
It is.
necessarily need him every game right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
But I would also rest Gallagher and Anderson. If we clinch on Friday, I wouldn't play Gallagher and Anderson against
I think you
Toronto.
like as much,
Well,
yeah,
actually, you have to because Demidov can't play yet, so we may have to play one of them.
yeah.
But
But
anyway,
if they want it, I give it to them.
I mean, I know playing Toronto put something in Anderson, so
Yeah. Or you alternate. You don't take them both out.
yeah. Another thing, what we could try and do is we can try and do a watch party like via like a podcast episode during the playoffs.
I know that every home game I'm going to be working.
Oh, you are? Okay.
So, but on the we
We'll
can
do
do
an
it.
away game then.
We can do an away game.
Yeah, since you'll be working every home game.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be downstairs.
Yep.
They'll need you.
Yep.
I mean, it's cool probably working the game, but it also probably sucks because you're in a freaking basement.
Yeah, but I have the game on. And I mean, like I do run up. Like I do get to see the arena. So like
Okay,
I do get to like, enjoy it a bit,
so when they're playoff hours, things change a little.
Well, even the regular season, like I mean, yeah, I'm needed downstairs and stuff, but like all I'm doing really is just, like taking requests from other stores and things like that. But when I work the games, like, I'm able to go up to the concourse. I'm able to like, see the vibes, feel the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's true. And the atmosphere is going to be
And
loud.
this will be my first legitimately like a legitimate like playoff. Because 2021, that was playoffs, yes, but it wasn't like by regular standards a
No,
playoff.
it didn't count. You snuck in.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say no. I didn't sneak it. I worked.
They know, right?
Yeah, I worked it. I worked the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Like I mean, like the half like it does count. It's just that it's not a full playoff atmosphere.
No, it wasn't. And that's the thing. The only player on the Habs that has seen that atmosphere is Gallagher.
Yeah, you can argue Anderson with the Blue Jackets, but
No, well, that's not with the
that's not
Habs.
like that's not
It's not
like
with the
playoff.
Habs.
That's not
It's
Montreal playoffs. Yeah.
I'm talking about with the Habs because Savard would have definitely
Oh,
seen.
Tampa. You're right.
Well, actually, no. With Tampa, he wouldn't have. Oh well, he would have gotten it in the U.S. because they did have it in the U.S. But it's about also is Savard the only player on the current roster that's won a Stanley Cup?
Uh,
I think so.
I
Oh
would
no,
think
Newhook, Alex Newhook,
Colorado.
who actually had a real playoffs.
That who actually had a real playoff exactly. Yeah.
Newhook, speaking of Newhook, yeah, he reminds me so much of a great like third line guy. He's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I'm not
He
worried about
looks
him.
like the third line center role is his situation. They're gonna have to find a new center,
Yeah.
trade for a guy like a Beniers, Zegras. I don't really like the idea of Zegras. His style of play would not be great.
I agree.
Maybe a veteran. For some reason, I saw something. I don't know if you know Grok on Twitter,
Yeah, yeah.
the AI. I
Yep.
asked like a trade the Habs should make, and it was like couple picks to get Boone Jenner. And I'm like, Boone Jenner is older, but he would be a good like stopgap to hope that Michael Hage becomes
It's a good
what he's
fit.
expected to be.
I like it. Yeah. And if we're making playoffs from here on out, I mean, picks are expendable.
Yeah, we can picks are expendable. I'm also saying I'm actually lying a little bit about the trade because it did say the trade should be like Anderson and like a second for Boone Jenner, which I didn't really
But then
with
it
right
defeats the
now.
purpose. Yeah.
I don't know if
It is
trading
easier, it
Anderson's the
is
best.
easier to get a winger, but yeah.
I mean, we could always get rid of Woolen and eventually trade Anderson, out of that contract.
Yeah, but it
But
depends. You have to
he's
find a
also
willing trade
a
partner.
heart and soul guy.
That too. But you have to find a willing trade partner, right? Because yeah, okay, it's nice to say, oh, we can trade him, but like, you know, we're looking at the reasons why we want to trade him, and why would other teams want him if that's the reason they want to trade him? But no, I mean, I like Boone Jenner is a great idea. I liked the idea of Nazem Kadri, but I don't know about that. We'll see.
Nazem Kadri, his contract's long and it's
Yeah, but as a number two C,
2C, but like he's aging. He's 33 years old. You got to look at if you're going to take a guy that's 33, you want him on 2 years or less, not
yeah,
5 years. You want to have a guy that's at that age. Like I would be okay with Matt Duchene on a 1 year contract.
yeah, yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know.
I
Same
feel like
thing
I
with
feel like that I feel like
Mikael
that should be
Granlund.
the station, but yeah,
I don't know if both Mikael Granlund and Matt Duchene can stay in Dallas though.
something to explore.
Dallas loaded up. They look pretty
Yeah,
good
they're
for
they're 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 really trying to win, which is understandable. I mean,
which
look,
they're probably the team that has the longest cup window though.
I want to say, yeah. St. Louis is a mystery, though.
They're interesting.
St. Louis is very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 2 minutes left. So we should probably close it out.
All right.
So yeah, so you think what is your prediction for tomorrow night?
Maybe Ottawa's friendly. They give us an overtime point.
An overtime point.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, no, I'm just feeling like going to Ottawa, the Habs, like the
Do we know
vibe
who's
there.
in net for the Senators tomorrow? Is it Allmark?
It's it's in Ottawa.
No, no, but do we know who's in net?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
If it is Allmark, I'll say 2-1. 2-1 Canadians in overtime.
Okay. I still think it's gonna be 4-2 either way,
Okay.
no matter what. And I say you put in Montembeau for that game.
Yeah,
And you could
you
give
give
Dobek
Toronto.
Toronto. It's not going
Give
to
Dobesh
matter that
Toronto.
much. And if
Yeah,
he shows up and plays great,
give
great for him.
Dobesh Toronto. I
But if
like that.
if not, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
But anyways, we'll see how things go,
yeah,
and we should talk soon.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, go Habs, go! Enjoy the games this weekend, man.
Let's do it.
All right, have a good one.
You too. All right.
Bye.